All good now. Put it in my side monitor. All right, ChatGPT, Brainrot is real and getting worse. This video was something I was curious about, so I'm going to go ahead and see what it's all about. Oh boy.
I've developed an addiction to AI. My AI is actually on my best friends list.
If you're anything like me, you use ChatGPT for everything. ChatGPT is my counselor, my therapist, my best friend. It knows all my secrets.
She has a bird. I can't tell if these people are actually being serious or if this is a troll. And this lady here has a lazy eye.
Story time on how I almost got kicked out of the University of Michigan my freshman year for using ChatGPT. Okay.
These college students that don't realize their professors aren't idiots. They're tenure professors for a reason. They're not dumb. Why do kids think they're smarter than their parents? Smarter than the adults in the room. Some are, in certain things. But man, this is an epidemic.
Okay, so ChatGPT is down, but we do not panic.
You're literally one AI agent away from making 10K a month.
No, you're not. Do not believe that for a million. Do not. Do not fall for that scam.
The most gut-wrenching feeling in the world is when the ChatGPT chat that you've been using for about 6 months starts referencing things that don't exist. It must be what it feels like to notice for the first time that a loved one has dementia or something.
Everyone's talking about how AI is ruining YouTube, but I believe AI is ruining something much worse.
Honestly, it's ruining our freaking brains. Because some people don't take the time to process if what ChatGPT or what AI chats are putting out as authentic or not. They're not. They're just looking at the first explanation they're given. Sometimes, even when I know the answer's not correct, I double check it and triple check it, and I re-put it into the AI just to keep making it repeat itself to see if it gives me the same answer each time. Because I've had it give me reverse answers to things that just aren't true. Like I said, it's not 100% accurate. It's not error-proof. This is what people need to take into account when dealing with AI.
Our own ability to think. ChatGPT has went down several times this year, and every time it goes down, it truly exposes people.
And the teacher asks for my name, but the ChatGPT servers are down. Okay, Homelander in the background there.
Who are over-reliant on the AI. People are genuinely losing their minds because they now can't get any of their work done, they can't cheat on their assignments, and apparently
cheat on their assignments. If only. I did not get that benefit. Every single assignment I had to sit down and study for. I hated school. I really wish school would focus on teaching for home economics, if that's even what it's still called. They would actually teach things you need to know in life, like how to work with a credit card, how to deal with your banks, how to file your taxes, things that kids should need to know when they're getting ready to head out there. That way they've got the basic knowledge, and everything else that's added on they can just learn as they're going.
apparently they can't even bake a cake.
ChatGPT is down, and I don't know about anyone else, but I have come to the conclusion that I can't use my own brain anymore. Because, for example, right now I want to bake a cake.
Wait, at this point, I'm pretty sure these are trolls on TikTok.
And normally I ask ChatGPT, how do you make a carrot cake? I can't simply Google something anymore. Like, I need a step-by-step breakdown from my best friend, who is also a robot. And now, it's like...
Well, it's not a robot per se. It's a set of algorithms written in a programming language that process information that's available to it in its server database. It gathers it from all over the internet.
Passed away. So... that's me for the day. I'll go back to bed.
If we as a society are already this dependent on ChatGPT and can't be bothered to Google something the moment the servers go down, we as a society are baked. And not...
We were already baked. Have you watched some of the videos with these people that go around asking people random questions in the streets of suburban cities with people in the United States, and they ask them, can you name 8 countries? And they name cities. or towns. They don't even know what a country is. Ask them to name the 7 continents. They completely name countries. Like, it's simple social studies questions. And these days it's so terrible because everyone's going out of their own way to just, they don't want to do school, they don't want to learn, they just want the fastest way to success, and they're using social media to get that. So they can get money and drop out of school and never have to do it. And then they know nothing. And then all their money's gone. You know, some of the people that are homeless in California and near LA are former streamers. I mean, it's even worse apparently, I think, in China or Japan. There's literally this long group of streamers that are all these people trying to get people to watch their content and donate to them. And they stream on the sidewalk, sleeping outside because they don't have a place to stay. I'm not sure if it's a thing in Japan or if it's a thing in China. I mean, even in Africa, there's people that record shorts. You can see a couple of them in your shorts feed if you ever come across them.
Not in the fun way. Cookbooks, Google, I think even the flour bag has a recipe on it, or just call your grandmother. I'm sure she has a recipe and she would love to hear from you.
My grandmother's not around anymore. I had 2. And both on my dad and my mom's side, and they were the primary cooks. Like my dad's side, her mom, my grandma there, she made all the cakes for the family. And then you've got my dad's side, not my dad's side, my mom's side of the family, and she made all the Thanksgiving dinners and Christmas dinners. So each one had their own fundamental thing that they did. I mean, we had a big family on my dad's side. Like, I remember when we would have those family reunions out at the church. It'd be like 400 plus people at this family reunion event. And my grandma would bring in these tiny Swedish meatballs that everyone loved. And as soon as they arrived, everyone lined up just for those meatballs. That's my dad's mom's Swedish meatballs. And that's just crazy. Crazy that people loved it. And she would never make enough. She had to finally start buying in bulk and making big old crock pot size. She'd make these small ones in the beginning. And those were never enough. They were never enough. Because people would just eat them.
And of course, every time ChatGPT goes down, everybody goes to Reddit to let everybody else know what they already know is that the servers are down. The caption says,
I didn't even know that the server's down because I don't use it all that often. I usually go on Google, I put something in search, AI will pop up something, I'll ignore it, and I scroll down towards the links because I know what I'm looking for. The only time I ever use AI is when I'm asking anime questions that I can't quite remember from old shows. You got to be pretty specific, but once you do it, it'll give you the right answer. Sometimes you have to click it twice or 3 times because it'll bring up incorrect information.
As when ChatGPT tells you Australians don't need a visa to enter Chile, but it's wrong and too late now.
Good old trolls. But I think she's being just a subtle overtone and just using troll posts from TikTok or Instagram, because most of these look like troll posts.
People are now relying on ChatGPT for travel information, which, as we know, gets updated. It's not always the same. ChatGPT, of course, can not only have outdated information, it can also hallucinate. This is fascinating to me because this was such a...
Hallucinating? An AI? Running through thousands of pounds worth of data? Yeah, wouldn't be shocking. I mean, it's not an error-proof system. Eventually we will get to the point where we can do, I mean, they're doing it now, where people do virtual surgeries. Literally, surgeons are doing virtual surgeries from halfway across the world. There's been a couple of those done. They're not perfect yet. I was recently at the hospital and I didn't even know that x-rays were portable now. They literally have a portable x-ray machine. Sucker can roll around on 4 wheels and you just take it and you can do it right in the stabilization of their bed. I'm like, okay, we're advancing. I mean, there's a lot of new technologies I'm not even aware of.
A simple Google search, but it's like people don't want to Google anything now. They don't want to search out information.
I still do. The only time I ever ask the AI anything is when it comes to anime questions. from old shows that I've completely forgotten about and I can't remember.
themselves. They just want answers given to them automatically, regardless if it's true or not.
It's America. It's mainly the gift that keeps on giving, and eventually it's just too much of a gift. You have these people that want it now. There was a comedian. I believe he was Asian American. He made a comedy skit where he was making fun of Americans, saying you don't just want the food, you want it put in your mouth, like directly. It has to be put in there, and I don't want to wait 5 minutes. It has to be now. Things like that. I mean, they're not wrong. We're spoiled. Majority of us, we don't take the time, and then we're impatient. I won't even deny sometimes I get impatient.
I was recently thinking about all the know-it-alls in the world, right? I think we all know someone who kind of just says things and you're like, where did you get that from? And I don't know where they get it from. They just pull it out of thin air, but they say it confidently because they themselves
Oh, wow. Is she referencing pirate software? Oh.
believe it, and now they're trying to pass it on as truth.
Last night, I went out with friends, and one of my friends brought a friend. We were talking about space, and I said, fun fact, the size of Neptune's storms are so large they could eat Earth. And then little Tagalong speaks up, and he goes, oh, that's not true, bro, that's not true. And I'm like, okay, so I take out my phone, I go to NASA's official website, and I show him with proof that it is true, and he goes, no. He takes out his phone, opens ChatGPT, and says, yo, Chat, is this real? You're using an AI model to fact-check NASA!
Why use
to fact-check NASA? Oh, man. Oh, it is so true. So true.
its brain when you have ChatGPT? It's truly amazing to me that people are doubting official sources of truth, such as NASA, and
Are you kidding me? This is shocking to you? We have flat earthers. Literal people who believe the planet is flat and argue every inconsistency just to try to prove their point. And always say every footage of the planet being spherical, which, by the way, the Earth's not a perfect sphere, it's concave. So it's just like a kind of like ovalish. But, like, people don't believe it. There's some people that don't. They exist. Flat earthers is real. Very real. Oh, that reminds me, I should do this because I'm curious. Clicky. Clicky. Still, though, I can't understand people and the flat earth thing. It confuses me.
and opting for ChatGPT as their source of truth. People are now using AI to cheat during their interviews.
You're leading an army of ants in a battle against grasshoppers. What's your first strategic move?
I think my first strategic move would be to assess the terrain and identify any natural advantages that we can leverage. So
how is that cheating? Because technically speaking, anybody would tell she's like speaking a script. Because people that are thinking on their toes don't technically stare at their screen.
such as narrow paths or elevated areas.
So you can see the AI has been listening to the conversation and it just outputs the answer and she's kind of reading it all. I understand, okay? I understand. The interviewing process, job hunting, I get it. It's
for part-time jobs like in retail, it's not hard. But it is better to have a resume. But for jobs in the IT space, oh my freaking God. In one time when I did an IT, when I was doing IT, and I got involved with a technician job, I had to do 3 separate interviews. 3. And I had to do it twice, so it was 6. Because they didn't like the first set of interviews. Then why did you do the next 2 if you didn't like my first one? And apply a year later and I finally get it. There's just weird things that companies do that don't make any sense. Like there's when I applied for a part-time job in retail, kicker, it was for Target. They have a long questionnaire you have to take about what would you do in this situation, what would you do when reporting it to this person, this situation. I'm like, Why are these questionnaires here?
Sucks. I think imposter syndrome is something we have all struggled with at least at some point in our careers. And if you can't answer the questions in an interview, I don't know, I feel like you're setting yourself up for failure. I know employers themselves are using AI, so now potential employees are fighting back using AI themselves. But I think this will just lead employers to coming up with new tactics to see, are you using AI?
I think we've reached a point with AI where we can confidently say this is not a tool that is revolutionizing learning. This is a nightmare that is destroying learning. Not one.
It was destroyed before AI. Even before AI and GPT became a thing, or any AI reviews with Google, it already was destroyed. There are literal shorts going back from shorts and regular videos going back from almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 7 years ago that show actual people talking and being asked questions in the middle of the street on the spot, and they can't even answer simple geography questions. You ask them to name 8 countries, they give you cities and towns. You ask them to name continents, they give you countries. Like, dude, like you ask them to name, can you name 2 states in the United States? And they can't even do it. I've seen these videos. It is crazy to me that they think it's AI that were started. No, it's not AI. It started way before that. Our education system's gone down the tube ever since social media became a thing. It is a social media epidemic. Kids want the fastest success, the fastest way to make money, and they'll drop out of school once they get it. That's what's happening.
Have I seen a single student use AI as a resource or in a way that is even remotely ethical? 100% of times when I see students use it, it is so they do not have to think. I'm talking about putting an essay prompt into ChatGPT, not even reading the essay prompt, copying and pasting the results in.
See, that's something I could never do. If I was to have AI back when I was in school and I used it to prompt for a 5-paragraph essay, I would have it prompt and then I would read it first and see if it matches the way I want it to say. Because I can tell you right now, I'd probably take cliff notes of it and then use it and then write out my own thing. Because I can type 120 words a minute. It wasn't like I was struggling to get essays done. I mean, some of these kids these days are faster texters than they are typists.
Into a doc and submitting it without even reading it over.
More and more teachers are coming out and claiming how AI is terrible for students, and I'm always surprised by the amount of backlash that these teachers get. There's a huge difference in giving AI to an adult to be used as a tool and giving AI to a student to be used as a crutch.
But it depends on how the parents are pushing it onto them. Sometimes I gotta question if it's more the parents than it is the kid. And I don't know of any parents that are pushing AI onto their kids. Hell if I know. I just know it's not AI's fault for the education system. AI is just another excuse that people are using. It's social media, man. Straight up social media is the main primary cause of this problem. You want to talk about education being an issue? That is definitely the issue. Definitely, it's social media. Kids want the fastest way to make money, views, and clicks. They don't want anything else. And then they'll just drop out of school. And that's what happens.
An adult already has critical thinking skills, whereas a child hasn't developed their critical thinking yet. These students need to be writing things for themselves. Writing, reading, spelling.
I'll be honest, I've heard of the AI issue within universities, but I've never heard of it being an issue for kids in elementary school. Like, is that a thing that's been going on? Because I've heard the complaints about people using it in high school and using it in college. I mean, I wouldn't say it's not possible. If they're using it at high school levels, there's no doubt probably kids who are very tablet inclined are probably abusing the crap out of it. But it's more so not the AI, and it's more so the parents. Parents need to take a stronger thing about trying to get like, why even bother having kids if you're not going to take the time to do things? What's the point? If your only goal is to put a tablet in front of them to get them to leave you alone, why did you bother having kids? I understand you want peace of time to yourself. Send them to summer camp. You can get them away for a whole 3 months. Get them involved in Boy Scouts. Well, Girl Scouts. I'm not even sure if it's still the same if they got them separated. I know Boy Scouts just started letting girls in.
All of those things lead to critical thinking, abstract thinking, which is the basis of just learning how to learn. How can they fact check an LLM if they can't even on their own create their own stories? People also love to compare AI to when calculators were introduced. Have you ever asked a calculator how to boil an egg? Have you ever asked a calculator to write a resume for you? They're not the same thing. AI can
Okay,
do way more
that'd be a
things
lot
than a
of problems.
calculator, including math, kind of. As the teacher mentioned, students
struggles
just
with
copy
math
prompts
sometimes.
and paste them into ChatGPT. And this is happening so often in universities that professors are now using a Trojan horse to detect AI. The professors will put something like, mention Dua Lipa. If you don't know, she's an artist. But the interesting thing is, students aren't even reading what ChatGPT is giving them.
No, they're not. They'll copy and paste it. They don't even take the time to proofread it. You could have so many grammar mistakes because even AI struggles with making a proper paragraph. Oh boy. Yeah. AI is creating some brain rot, especially for university students. Damn, if AI existed when I was in college, I'm curious how I would have used it. I am damn curious. Because I don't know. I've never had that problem. Maybe it's a problem I'm glad I didn't have.
They're not even reading their work, they're just submitting the whole thing. And then somewhere in the essay, it mentions Dua Lipa, which if you wrote that yourself, or if you even halfway wrote it going back and forth with ChatGPT, you would wonder, why is it talking about Dua Lipa? They're not even reading the prompt. The caption says, ChatGPT is down. Is it too far to ask Snapchat AI for exam answers?
Snapchat AI? Snapchat has its own AI? Does everything have its own AI at this point? I saw YouTube has its own AI prompt that can help with video creating. It gives you ideas for potential content. Sheesh.
And then it uses Taylor Swift's song where it says something like, I've got nothing in my brain. Yeah, because you're using AI for everything. You haven't learned anything, and thus you can't recall anything, and you're not able to do your exam. And you're...
Is it too rude to say she had blonde hair when she was looking at it? I feel like that's too rude to say.
Panicking now when ChatGPT is down. It's interesting that she wants to use a social media's AI to help her cheat on her exam when it's social media that destroyed our critical thinking skills.
Ah, so now we get to the crux of the issue. Social media destroyed us. Social media made everyone want the quickest path to success. And there's some people that get it, and then it falls out from underneath them faster than there's no tomorrow.
And not just the desire to find the truth, but the ability to do so. People are now relying on ChatGPT for things like hiking, and it's leading users who I guess are not familiar with hiking to go on these mountains that still have snow, and they're wearing sneakers. They're not even prepared.
Oh man. Get yourself some tennis rackets, put them on the bottom of your feet.
Prepared for the reality of what the hike is going to be like, and it's causing all these search and rescue teams to have to go out and rescue these people. People are relying so heavily on ChatGPT that they don't...
I mean, we relied heavily on MapQuest for the longest time, and then GPS became a thing with Google, and now we rely on Google Maps.
Even understand that without cell reception, they can get no help from ChatGPT or a rescue team.
If you're not using ChatGPT for everything in your life, you're crazy.
This is by far...
Girl, the only one that's crazy is the fact that you're relying on that for all eternity. That's the sad part.
Are the most powerful ChatGPT prompt I've ever seen. You are now operating in God mode.
I'm giving you guys right now the exact chat...
You're now operating in God mode. Some of these are troll posts. They have to be.
GPT prompt that will help you manifest your dream life.
And this is how you can have a mental reprogramming of your brain. Here's the prompt.
Older people use ChatGPT as a Google replacement. Maybe people in their 20s and 30s use it as like a life advisor or something.
Never as a life advisor. Like I said, I use the AI chat that Google has to strictly search up questions I have about animes that I forgot 10 or 20 years ago. Seriously, there's some that I forget about, and then I see a picture of it, and I'm like, crap. So then I take that picture, I put it into the AI search for Google, and it helps me find it. Then I look up the characters with the AI search. Haha. See, there's benefits to having it. Just don't use it to cheat in school. Come on, people. We're better than this.
There's an interesting paradox happening with AI where people feel they are genuinely leveling up. They're becoming better, faster, smarter. They're evolving with AI.
No, they're not. Until you get a chip planted in your brain, it's not really an evolution.
However, the research says otherwise. Earlier this year, the Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania released research on how we learn with LLMs. Their research showed that when we search for information ourselves, we're more invested, and thus, as we're searching out information, we synthesize and hold on to more of that information. Whereas with ChatGPT, it just spits out an answer, we read it, we don't really hold on to the information, and we just keep going about our day.
You're right about that. I'll admit that too, because when I'm trying to remember those animes and then a week later I forget. Like, brain, just freeze it in there.
We then have the recently released MIT study that shows that people who use LLMs tend to have less brain activity. In the study, participants were asked to write an essay. The researchers used an EEG to measure the electrical activity of the brain as users were writing their essay.
I'm curious about the age range of the people that they pulled into this. If it's 20s to 30s or 30s to 40s. Because I feel like people that are in their early 20s that have access to AI now are using it way too much. And then you got people like me in their 30s that use it for stupid crap because you're trying to find answers to something you completely forgot. And then there's older people, like, for example, let's go with my mom, who use it to look up recipes that she forgot about. And it has helped her get those recipes back. I'm just curious, like, where do we stop with AI? Where it's acceptable and it's not acceptable? Because I just feel like it begins and ends with the person, but there's people that don't have the cognitive ability to think for themselves, and then this becomes their whole world. Ugh. I'm worried about us, because if we get to the point where we're starting to have like actual sex robots, that's when I think it's over. When that becomes a thing, it's over, because men will abandon women instantly and it'll be insanity.
They found that the people who only use their brains exhibited the strongest, most distributed networks, and the LLM users displayed the weakest connectivity. This study also highlighted how people who used the LLM had a really hard time recalling what they'd even read or wrote with the LLM. And I know a lot of people have issues with this MIT research, claiming that it's too small of a sample size.
There's two types of studies you can do. There's the short-term studies, and then there's longitudinal studies. Longitudinal studies are from periods of 5 to 10 years, and they take a huge group of people within a selected age range of over 100,000 plus, and this research they use to determine things. I mean, it's just like when they did research into vaping, and they already released the report for it, which shows vaping is not better for you. It's actually worse for you than smoking. So, like, people, the longitudinal studies take forever to do. They require larger sample sizes, longer years, and hard to figure out. So MIT's was a smaller scale operation on a selected group of people, probably within a specific viewpoint, but hey, that's what we get.
But we also have Microsoft's own research pointing to basically the same thing, that the more we use LLMs, our brains are having atrophy and we're losing our critical thinking. This is all interesting to me because the AI hype usually focuses on how we're all going to unlock all of this knowledge that the average person can learn physics. Yet if they're using an LLM to learn physics, then they're actually learning it at a shallower depth than if they would research it on their own. AI is also marketed to us as allowing us to automate the boring things, when in reality, we're just fact-checking what the LLM tells us. We're not even using our creativity, and we're not using our critical thinking skills. That's why we're becoming dumber or In my opinion, we really didn't need these studies to show that if you outsource every single thought you have to ChatGPT, that will deteriorate our own ability to think critically and problem solve.
If I can show you how to make money with
It
ChatGPT in the
already
next
does.
hour, would you do it? So I've been
Okay. To anybody who's ever watching that sits here and uses AI to develop financial advice, I think it's just a scam. I don't think it works. How to make money with AI as a beginner in 48 hours or less. So I've been training this brand new AI. Oh boy.
Training this brand new AI on exactly how
He didn't even capitalize the AI.
to help beginners make money online.
If I had to start from zero and make 10K per month as fast as possible with AI, here are 3 ideas that I know for sure would work.
I want to stop scrolling because this AI hack could change your entire 2025 income.
These are literally from ads too that I see in YouTube Shorts. Fortunately, I have ad block, so I don't see it anymore. But that crap's all over the place. Here's how to make 10K in this amount of time. You even see these stupid comment posts in Facebook with them trying to get you to click their links so they can steal your information.
Income game.
I'm too cheap to pay for my own Netflix subscription, so let's build our own version of Netflix, and all we're going to need is to go onto ChatGPT. I just sit back, relax, and save that Netflix subscription money. What's your vibe today? Smart feed, mystery?
So many people these days are told they need to start a business or a side hustle, and with AI, anyone can code up their own application, even though these people are now putting users' passwords in an Excel file because they don't know how to set up a database or do proper authentication, but I digress.
Security.
I'm thinking about starting a side hustle where I collect dog poop by hand from people's yards and drying them out to put in resin to make jewelry and watches out of. Thinking of calling it Turd Times a Charm.
This person's trolling the chat. They gotta be.
What do you think? This idea is brilliantly unhinged, and honestly, it might just work. People may be spending money that they don't have to start a side hustle all because ChatGPT told them it was a brilliant idea. It's like we're so focused on being efficient now that no one cares about honing their skills, about improving their craft. Take the event loop in JavaScript. It's a coding language if you don't know. The event loop, you don't necessarily need to know to write JavaScript code, but it's something that I want to know. It fascinates me and it allows me to write optimized code. But do I truly need to know it to be able to write code? No, the AI knows it. It can write optimal code. But it's like nowadays, I'm viewed as the idiot if I don't want to use AI. Like if I don't want to outsource my brain to the AI, I'm the idiot. Over-reliance on ChatGPT is the real zombie apocalypse.
The problem with AI and over-reliance on it is the fact that it's electronic. And if that electronic goes out, you can't fall back on your inner knowledge that you yourself learned by developing it over years. And that is the problem.
It's the death of critical thinking. I think this tweet sums up this video quite well. Sometimes in the process of writing a good enough prompt for ChatGPT, I end up solving my own problem without even needing to submit it. AI folks have now discovered thinking.
You just are putting your closets on ChatGPT? What happened to the art of getting dressed? What happened to, fuck, I can't find anything to wear. One of my last beautiful personal joys that we have every day is the art of getting dressed.
He's ranting about how people are now uploading their entire wardrobe to ChatGPT to ask ChatGPT for recommendations on what they should wear, what they...
That's just terrible.
They should buy. His argument is that we're all going to look the same now, which I agree. We're all losing our individuality, our personality. We all sound the same, actually. Research does show that everybody's kind of just sounding the same now because they're all regurgitating what ChatGPT has told them. Where is individuality? Where is ownership of our work? Where is creativity? When we question nothing and outsource all of our critical thinking skills to an AI, it creates the perfect conditions for tech billionaires like Peter Thiel to control us, which is already happening. But that's...
How do they control us? That's the thing I'm wondering. They can't make us work for them and enslave us, so I'm just curious. How are they doing that?
That's a topic for another video.
Hey, how are you?
Oh.
How am I doing?
Good, how are you?
Good, how are you? Do you want to go out for ice cream? Let me ask Chat. Hey, Chat, should I go out for ice cream?
Hey, well, if you're in the mood for ice cream, why not?
I need a yes or no.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
Oh man. That is some great stuff.
Hey there everyone, if you enjoy this content, like and subscribe,
and comment down below. Thanks again.